So for a number of places within the country, even the normal commencement date of the rain has been distorted, where we used to receive, for instance, in the Sudan, what you made by the Sudan, especially when you are going away towards the extreme northern part of the country, in the Sudan, and the effective rain used to be received in May. But this year, effective rain in most places did not start until June. In fact, some of the farmers, if you go to some places, they are just planting now. So which means that even though they have some rainy events, some in late April, some in May, but the effective rain did not be established well until in May in some locations. Do you get what I'm saying? So this becomes problematic. And then when you plant crop are things that have life. They have a lifespan over which they grow, they flower, they mature, and all these things. So the crops expect that the rain will continue to be received up to certain periods. For instance, maize average is 90 days. So if you are expecting effective period of rain for 90 days, and unfortunately it's season like say in around 80-something or 70-something days, then it means it becomes a problem to you. So the issue of early cessation, which we have been observing, it is going to happen in many places in the country, is a major problem also. Then the other thing is this period we call dry spell. When you say dry spell, rain has started within the rainy season, the rainy period, you have some few days where there will not be rain at all. And you know crops, they require water, moisture. So when you have few days, and you know our temperature is high. The average temperature in the country is always about 20 degrees centigrade, and in most cases about 30 in some places. So because of high temperature, the little water that is received is always being heated up and it will evaporate. So if you don't have rain continuously, it means the crops, when they are looking for water, they will not see it. So this is a challenge that they are facing. So because of the dry spell, you discover that the crops, they will not have water when they will require it. Our prediction is saying that the dry spell is also a serious problem.
Usually when we listen to NIMET, the news, people are concerned about floods, but I think people are concerned for different reasons. Most people are concerned about floods because we have seen the effect that the floods had on, most Nigerian cities, especially in 2012. But looking at the challenges that you've enumerated now, it looks like we have a new set of challenges that could affect even the agricultural drive of the federal government and even many state governments. Are they aware of these challenges that farmers might face, as a result of, certain changes noticed in the climate? Yeah,
they are. We at NIMET, because of the act establishing us, we are supposed to not only collect the information, analyze it, make it available to Nigerians in order to guide decision making. So what we do every year, we produce what we call seasonal rainfall prediction, in which we try to predict some of these problems that I'm saying. How the rain is going to be received, the amount that will be received, the likely implication of what we are going to see in terms of rain and temperature in particular. So the consequences of this unfolding, we predicted that because we are going to receive certain amount of rain, volume of rain within certain particular period, it is expected that the level of water that is going to be conveyed in the major rivers or drainage in some location is going to be higher than the capacity. Whenever the water in the river is higher than the capacity of the river, definitely the water has to go out and start flooding. So we predicted that there is going to be cases of flooding, and we advised that there is a need for us to be proactive.
But do you predict this, make these predictions on time?
Yes, we did that.
Are they timely? When do you usually release the predictions?
We normally release February, March. We normally release it. This year we release early March.
We'll come back and wrap up this discussion, but let's take a moment now.
Thank you.
So I said will continue. Please stay with us. Professor Sani Mashi, the Director General of NIMET, is still with us in the studios, and there are a lot of questions to ask you, but I'm going to ask you this one. You've talked about how government have a role. What can individuals do? I mean, considering this changing climate that they're facing, and they also know that sometimes before government gets to them, there's very little that can be done. What can they do when they notice certain things within their environment?
Two important things that should always do is to prepare and to be proactive in taking certain decisions so as to minimize the occurrence or the consequences of the problem. What we mean by to prepare is very simple. You are anticipating, you are staying in an area that's liable to flood. So as soon as rainy season comes, there is high probability you will be affected. What you need to do is to prepare your mind. For instance, move away some of your valuables, so that if flood comes, you can easily carry your legs and run away. You don't have to wait evacuating. To be proactive means be doing certain things to minimize your risk. If this is floodplain, if you must build on that area, make sure your building level is high. That is just that. Your building level is high relative to the flooding. You will discover that people are building near the bank of a river, and their base level will be almost at the same level as the river. So as soon as the level of water in the river becomes higher, the next thing it will find its way into the compound. So these are some of the things. So do certain activities. Be proactive. If there are drainages, make sure you maintain them. Situation whereby when you finish eating something on a paper, you dump into the drainage. Where do you expect the water to pass through? It means water must find way for itself. So the next thing is to move into your compound. So if you prepare and you carry out certain decisions to minimize the risk, honestly, to a very large extent, you will be free from the problem.
Well, they say a word is enough for the wise.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lovely place to leave it. We have to thank you very much
for coming
on the program.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Professor Sani Mashi is the Director General of NIMET.